Hey there guys, and thanks for joining me today as we are taking a second look at the 1.2 Wings update for Elite Dangerous. As in the previous video, I showed you a first glimpse of what Wings has to offer. In the meanwhile, they've released a really cool semi-in-game trailer. I suggest you go check it out because it is really cool. I'll put a link down in the description for you. But in this video, I want to take a look at some of the other things that were released with the 1.2 patch. Like the two ships I mentioned, I actually went and got myself a Vulture. This ship is quite promising. It's pretty much the upgrade to the Viper. It allows 2 class 3 weapons. It's more maneuverable, but the speed is on the same level as the Eagle, so it's a lot slower. That being said, it's a lot heavier as well, so most of the equipment is class 4 or class 5 and very expensive. We'll also take a look at the different signal sources that were introduced, but first let's go on a quest to find a Vulture, because obviously you need a station that sells it, and that was actually quite a lot harder than I anticipated it would. I had to make a lot of jumps going all over the place to find it. In the end, I finally found it, and luckily it was reduced in price. It used to be somewhere around 20 million if I'm not mistaken, and at this point it's only 4.9. So before I actually buy the Vulture, I'm gonna have to sell the Viper. I didn't want to do this initially because I wanted to keep it, but if I want to have some money left for upgrading the Vulture, I'm gonna have to do this. Before I sell the whole Viper, I'm gonna sell all the parts individually so I don't miss out on any money. Obviously the parts are sold for full price, and the ship I think has a 10% reduction on its sell price. And after that was done, it's time to finally buy the Vulture. It's scary to buy a new ship every time, but let's do it. And here we are in the beautiful Vulture. Obviously one of the very first things I do is look around the cockpit, and it is really nice. You can actually look down your feet, and you've got a really nice view all around. Up as well looks very cool, and it's nice that you can see so much. I'd like to look behind me, but unfortunately that isn't possible yet. But yeah, so far I'm impressed. I wonder if at one point or another we're going to be able to switch seats, because there's obviously one seat behind me, because this is basically a 2-person ship. And before I take it out for a spin, the very first thing I'm going to do is upgrade it, of course, get some nice parts in there. First, let's sell these pulse lasers. Look at how tiny they are in the class 3 weapon slot. It's ridiculous. So earlier in this video I mentioned this ship for the most part has class 4 and 5 modules. The shield, for example, the power plant, the power distributor, all that stuff is pretty high quality. And it needs to be, because the ship has a lot of mass, meaning that it needs a better shield to be able to support the mass. The weapons draw more power, so they'll require a lot more power in the distributor available. And again, it being class 4 and 5 makes it all very, very expensive. And sooner rather than later, I found out after upgrading everything with nothing more than class B parts, because I just couldn't afford any more, my insurance was too high, so I was in trouble. The next thing is going to make Telnet very angry. He was so excited that he had finally persuaded me to do some trading. I'm gonna have to sell my Type 6. I called my Type 6 my baby. Now I know you guys haven't seen much video of it because that's just very boring, trading, flying up and down. But I'm gonna miss that ship. But I'm gonna have to do it if I want to try out this Vulture properly. And even with selling the Type 6, I'm still not rich enough to upgrade this thing with class A modules, but at least we can get the insurance money up and make sure that we have stuff that's at least making this ship on par with the Viper or a little bit better. So class 3 weapons are very expensive. For now what I've done is I've installed 2 gimbal pulse lasers. Class 3 of course, they're really big and chunky looking, and we'll see how they tear down shields and how they do damage to the hull. I think it's time by now we take this thing out into the field and give it a shot. Now before we actually pull into some combat, the very first thing I want to do is listen to the sounds of this engine, because by far in my book these are the very best in game. Like I said, I can listen to this sound forever. I apologize if it took too long, but I thought it was worth a shot. Anyway, let's jump into some combat. We'll start off with some simple bounty hunting, some smaller targets, so we can look at the change in bounty hunting price. Apparently we should be getting a lot more money now, and after that we'll take on some harder targets as well, and then a quick look at the different signal sources. I think it's safe to say at this point that smaller ships really die incredibly fast. 2 pulse cannons class 3 will tear through a shield in a matter of 3 or maybe 4 seconds at most, and then the hull doesn't stand a chance either. Really impressive. And one of the things you'll notice during this gameplay, and which is a very real fact now in the Anarchy systems, they buffed up the Anarchy systems a lot. You get attacked by random wings, which is quite annoying, but it does spice up the versatility, I guess, of the whole bounty hunting. It makes it more difficult to kill a target because there's a chance you get attacked from behind, but it's all more cool. So that was pretty intense, right? There were simply 2 Sidewinders and 2 Eagles, but because they're all hammering you, it's quite a panicking situation, and as well, you don't really know who to go for, and it can become quite a challenge, which is pretty cool. Now, the bounty on these were not all that good. They were only around 3 to 6k, I believe. Cobras can end up anywhere between 16 and 35. I'll show you some of that right now. This is probably a good time to mention that I really like the location of the hard points. Unlike the Viper where they're in the bottom, here they are on the top, so that means that if the target is moving away from you, you'll always retain line of sight, as you can see right here. And that makes it, yeah, a lot better. You get a lot more shots on target. So this one actually gives me a 45k bounty on the Cobra, which is really good. And now I'll show you a Python and then an Anaconda. And there he goes. I don't know if the name Test was a coincidence there, but yeah, it was called Test. So this one was a master with a 128k bounty, I believe, and that was pretty nice. As you could see, it went through the shields pretty damn fast, and the hull didn't stand a chance either. Of course, I'm using gimbal for the subsystem targeting, and that helps a lot. Power plant went down before the hull reached 0%. So I obviously recommend that at all times. Pretty damn good. So next up is the Anaconda. I'll spoil it right now and tell you I went pretty well. I think it went cool. Just with the Python, it chews through everything quite fast. But then I didn't get to kill him. Why? Well, anarchy system, that's why. And there you have it. I tried to kill that Anaconda, and before I knew it, I had 3 others on my 6, taking down my shields. Now, I don't know why they did that. I don't have a bounty, so that's not it. And what I would like to think is that they were part of the same faction, which, if that is true, will be another challenge to look out for. If people from the same faction stand up for each other, that can make for some interesting gameplay. So yeah, I had to bail out on this one, unfortunately, but oh well, you can't have everything. So now to quickly talk about the, higher bounties that you can collect. I think it's pretty cool. It makes it a lot easier to fly a ship and finance the ship by just combat. There's one other thing though. Even though the prices have gone up, you're very dependent on what kind of ships you're running into. For example, I've had hours where I run into nothing but Sandwiders and Eagles and maybe a Viper or a Cobra here and there. And then it really doesn't go fast at all. If you are running into just Pythons and Anacondas, well, that's another story. You could make up to 2 millions per hour. Another thing though is the fact that you can't claim your bounties everywhere you are. So for example, you'll find in anarchy systems, a lot of the times you need to claim bounties at Alliance or maybe the Empire. So then you need to travel very far to claim your bounties, and that will obviously take a lot of time off your hands as well. So yeah, is it better? Definitely. Is it as good as it should be? Not in my opinion. Let's go and take a look at some of these signal sources now. So in the game we had unidentified signal sources. Now we have 2 additional type of signal sources. We have the weak ones and the strong ones. Let's start with the weak one. I entered one and had a look at what was inside, and I found just a bit of wreckage with some parts around. Now I don't really know what it means. It could mean that if you collect some of it, maybe people jump you. In this case though, I didn't want to risk it, so I kind of just jumped away. But it looks really cool, and yeah, it's pretty impressive as to, having extra mysteries to identify and find out about. Let's take a look at the strong one. When I entered this one, it was filled with people on the radar, and that was pretty cool. I didn't want to attack, obviously. I saw 2 Anacondas. There was a lot of stuff in there. Obviously, they were all in wings, and that made it all the more challenging. I saw some federal ships, security ships that were there as well. So I expected there would probably be a battle to start at some point. And it did, luckily. And I tried to join in. I tried to go for one of the Anacondas, targeting his power plant and all that. But of course that wasn't gonna work. There's so many guys there that started attacking me. I had to bail out, and I expected as much. And yeah, I challenge you guys to come and join me, form up a wing, and we'll do some awesome stuff together. For now though guys, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm super excited about all the stuff that Wings has to offer, and I can't wait to continue playing. Thanks for joining me today guys, and I'll see you later. So next so for the next thing we're stop! Fucking stop and leave me alone. So for the next bit, what to talk about? Stop, no, I need to focus, please. Can you go outside? Go out, just leave. Leave the house. Oh, Stop. For the next bit, I want to talk about... Please stop. Yes, you are.